Hello, my guys. Welcome to another episode of the Micro Kicks as we approach the 7th week or the 7th match day of this English Premier League season. Yes, this English Premier League week 7 is going to start on a Friday night. And which game are we having first on a Friday night? Yes, we're going to jump into that. But just before then, if you're new to this channel, hit your like button, subscribe to this channel, join this family, hit the notification bell as we preview the weekend game of the match day 7 of the English Premier League. So we're going to be previewing and we're going to be giving predictions. So like I always say, betting is not always 100% certain, but take my predictions because my predictions are way good. So let's get into it and let's jump into it. So 2 weeks ago, or a week or two ago, we got 3 correct scores. The previous week we got 2 correct scores. So this week we hope to be in that mix as well, or to get even more correct scores. So the first game is going to be on a Friday night, which is going to be Bournemouth against Fulham. Yes, Bournemouth against Fulham. Fulham, like I usually say, or like I usually call them, or like my friend usually call them, she says, Fulham are like your toxic boyfriend. You don't expect things from them, in the sense that when you expect good from them, they might do bad. When you expect bad from them, they might do good. That is what you say about Fulham, because they are never consistent. Well, for Bournemouth have started this season not really with a bad result at home. They've actually not lost at home this season, so which is a very good one. Out of 3 games, they've won 2 and they've drawn 1. And also in the last few games concerning this suicide, Bournemouth has really had the upper hand in terms of head-to-head, which this game is expected to be a very tough game and a mouth-watering game between these two sides. And not too much draws concerning these two sides. It's just been one single draw. And I think with the sale of Bournemouth's backline last season, I don't think they've actually felt it, because they've been really doing good this season. I think the coach has something in him that people are really not seeing. I think he's a very good coach in Iriola. Why for Fulham, despite the signings they've made, they've been good, not quite bad. They've been good, not quite bad this season. But away from home, that is where the problem lies, because they've lost 2 games away from home and they've drawn 1. So they've not really won a game away from home in the last 3 fixtures for Fulham. So that would count in this one. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I think this game is going to be a tough one. I expect both sides to score. Fulham will score, Bournemouth to score. It's going to be a Friday night fixture, which is very tough if you know how Friday night fixtures usually is. Bournemouth will win. Bournemouth will win against Fulham. But it now depends on the scoreline. Is it going to be 2-1? Is it going to be 3-1? Both sides will score, definitely. So it will be on the safe side, both teams to score, definitely. But who we take, is it going to be 2-1 or 3-1? The scoreline now is the thing. Something tells me it's going to be 3-1, but I'm playing safe and I'm going to be sticking my heart out for a 2-1 victory for Bournemouth. Bournemouth 2, Fulham 1. Even if my heart tells me it's going to be a 3-1 victory. But let me know what you think concerning that in the comment section while we move to the next game, Leeds United against Spurs. Last week, Spurs came back from a goal down to, equalize and, draw the game 2-2 against Wolves. That was a very tough match. While for Leeds United, their home form hasn't been the best recently, but they've really not been that bad already this season. They won their first game at home against Everton. That's the first match. The last match, they played against Wolves away from home. They won the game. So I think they've been surprising, but still they've also suffered heavy defeat as well against Arsenal 5-0. But I think this game has always favored Spurs. Spurs are expected to bounce back despite their last draw at home against Wolves. They're expected to go away and do something better. This game has actually favored Tottenham Hotspur. So to me, I think Tottenham Hotspur, rather, in the last 5 games have not lost any. So they are really in a good vein of form. Unlike Leeds United, who have lost 1 out of their last 5 games. They've won 2 and they've drawn. Which have won 1 out of their last 5 games. So they've drawn and lost 2. At home, it has not been too. It has not been too bad. For Leeds United, they draw 1 and they draw 2 and they won just 1. So I think it's been not be that bad. So I think Tottenham Hotspur have the upper hand. Tottenham Hotspur will take this game now, and that depends on the scoreline. Away from home, Tottenham Hotspur has been good. They won a 2-0 against Manchester City. They won also 3-0 against West Ham, and they draw 2-2 against Brighton. So they've been unbeaten away from home. So to me, I think Spurs is going to win. I think it's going to be a 3-0 victory for Spurs. Spurs 3, Leeds United 0. Now we move to the next game, Arsenal against West Ham. This match is going to be tough. It's a London derby. It's going to be difficult for Arsenal. You surprised? Oh, you saw? No, the bookies would favor Arsenal. The bookies would say Arsenal is going to win. Yes, I understand. But this fixture has always been a tough fixture for Arsenal. In the last 4-5 games, it has always been tough for Arsenal. Let's not forget, West Ham have a new coach, and the players are trying to prove something. They did it in their last game against Everton. They drew the match away from home. So to me, I think it's going to be really be a tough game. Yes, everybody expects Arsenal to win. Yes, I get it. But it's not going to be a large margin, even if Arsenal win. Head-to-head, in the last 5 games, Arsenal have won 2, West Ham have won 3. You see how difficult it has been for Arsenal, especially playing this game at home. So it's going to be a hard game. Very difficult game for Arsenal. Now, Arsenal has been good at home this season. In fact, Arsenal are title contenders this season, unlike last season. This season, they've won their first game at home against Leeds United 5-0. They won 3-0 against Forest. And they draw 1-1 against Manchester City, which was a good result for me. Away from home for West Ham, if we should go by the form this season, Arsenal will win. If we should go by the form for West Ham, to be a large margin. But it's a new coach, a new system, a new era for West Ham. Now, for West Ham, their away form has been bad. Like I said, they lost 3-0 away to Forest. They draw 1-1 against Everton, and they lost 3-0 against Sunderland. So we are not looking at the form right now. We are looking at what West Ham is, the different side that they are right now. If you know Nuno Espirito Santo side, you know defensively they are very solid. Has he been able to inject his principle in the last 1-2 weeks of being, or in the last 1 week rather, of being the coach of West Ham? Is that enough to cause Arsenal a problem? That is the question to ask. But to me, I really want to go for, because there have been no draw between these two sides in the last 5. No draw. Is it that West Ham win or Arsenal win? So, something tells me it's 1-0 win for West Ham. But if you look at the Arsenal form and how Arsenal have been able to grind out difficult results, they did that against Newcastle last week. You will know that this Arsenal side is a different side. They have that squad depth. They rested players against Olympiacos. In their Champions League game, Saka came in. Eze came in, so they have good squad rotation going on for them, and that will be a very good advantage for them this weekend. So to me, I expect the likes of Eze and Isak and Saka to start. It will be a very close one, but I think Arsenal has more than what it takes to win this one. Even it will be a very hard game for Arsenal. I would say this game will end Arsenal 2, West Ham 1. Now let's move to the next game, Manchester United against Sunderland. Now for Manchester United, they've not really started the season very well. Yes, they won their last home game against Chelsea with a red card advantage. Until they scored, and they also got a red card. Casemiro is coming back, and they lost their last match against Brentford. 3-1, which Manchester United fans are not happy about. And but their home form has really not been too bad. They won against Chelsea, they won against Burnley, and also they lost against Arsenal in the first game. Let's not forget. So to me, going by that and going by how good Sunderland is, I've always rated Sunderland. Sunderland are my best team this season because of how their signings has been fantastic this season. I've always rated them. They won their last game against Nottingham Forest, 1-0. Before then, they drew against Crystal Palace. Before then, they lost against Burnley. But I could see the progression in Sunderland. So with that form for Sunderland, I don't think, something tells me Manchester United will have it very, very difficult against them, because look at the likes of the former Arsenal Xhaka, the former Arsenal captain, who is currently the captain of Sunderland. They have good players in there, but with their away form, be that thing that would go well for them. In the last 2 games, they've not lost away from home. I think they are really, really building on something after they lost to Burnley. So I think something tells me it's going to be a 2-1 victory for Manchester United. But I think it's going to be Manchester United 1, Sunderland 1. So 1x to be on the safe side. Arsenal match 1x to be on the safe side. Leeds United x2. No, Leeds United 2. Leeds United Spurs 2. While for Bournemouth and Fulham 1x. To be on the safe side. Now, let's move to the next game, the big one for the last Saturday's fixture, Chelsea against Liverpool. Let's quickly run through this. We have time spent already. Chelsea has not been in a good run of form. The last match at home, forget the Champions League, the Premier League last match at home, they lost against Brighton. They've lost back-to-back games now in the Premier League, which is not good, for Chelsea, for a team like Chelsea. This should be their 7th game this season. So in the last 6 games, they've drawn 2, they've lost 2, and they've won 1. So it's not really, really a good one for Chelsea. To me, Chelsea needs to win this game to get back to form. Chelsea needs to win this game to show their fans that yes, there's something going on in this club. But too much injuries for Chelsea this season is a very, very huge one for them, and it has cost them a lot. Let's not forget Chalobah will be out with a red card. Fofana is out for concussion reasons. Tosin is out with an injury. Santos is out with an injury. Delap, that one is out already. But let's not forget, Lavia is back. Is he going to start? Let's see. I think he's going to start. But I think we're going to see Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo in that game. In as much as I don't like Enzo playing as a number 10, but I think that is what Maresca would go by that day. He might not start Bonanote, but I think Chelsea would not lose this game at home, because Liverpool's away form has been terrible. Yes, they might be picking up wins since the start of the season. Let's not forget the first game against Newcastle. It was a 9 minutes goal from Hugo Uma, who won the game for them. The next game against Burnley away from home, it was a last-minute penalty from Salah, who won the game. They went away to Crystal Palace. They lost 2-1 away from. So it's been really, really tough for them. Away from home also at the Champions League at Galatasaray, they lost. So away from for Liverpool has been dreadful. It has really, really not been good. They've been grinding out results, actually. But if we let us go by how they play, it has really, really not been good for them. So Chelsea is not going to lose this game, and I don't see Liverpool losing either. So it's going to be a draw. I think Chelsea 1, Liverpool 1. To be on the safe side, 1x. So let's move to the next game, Aston Villa against Burnley. So for Aston Villa, they've been on a good reign of form in the last 3 matches. They've not lost in 3. They won in their Europa League, their last game. Also in the Premier League, they won against Fulham, and also they won in the other game again they played. So they've not lost in 3. They started the season on a very slow pace. Now between these two sides, Aston Villa have had an upper hand. Now for these two sides, Burnley has been terrible. They've not won any game in the last 5. So you could see that their form is very, very bad. Why for Aston Villa, they've not really had the best of form at home. They draw 1, lost 1, and won 1. Why for Burnley, away from home has been terrible. They've lost all 3 games away from home. They lost 3-2 to Manchester United. The first game was against Spurs. They lost 3-0. While for Manchester City, they lost 5-1 in the last game. So they've lost 3 goals above away from home. So I think with the new range of vein of form for Aston Villa, something tells me 2-1. But if we should go by the form of Aston Villa has played recently and how bad Burnley has been in the last couple of games, my prediction would be Aston Villa 3, Burnley 1. Now let's go to the next game, Everton against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have been unbeaten in the last 18 games in all competition, which has been fantastic, the best in the whole Europe, which has given Oliver Glasner an edge, to become the new Manchester United coach, if rumors are true. Now, head-to-head between these two teams, Aston Villa, Everton has been fantastic. Head-to-head, last 5 games, Everton 3 wins, 2 draws. If we should go by that, you would say Everton will win. But we should go by the current form of these two teams. I don't think so. I think Crystal Palace are a very, very good side currently. And they've gone unbeaten in 18. So that is something that is really cooking at that club. They have a little injury problems for Everton. Brentford, which is a very good defender for them, is out with a knee injury. Why Kenny Dewsbury Hall got a yellow card and he got suspended from the last game. Now, for Crystal Palace, Hughes is injured and Decore has a knee injury as well. Now, for the home form of Everton, they won their first game against Brighton, which was a good result for them. And they've had consecutive draws. Last game against Westham and the previous game against Aston Villa. They've not won in the last 2 games at home. While for Crystal Palace, I think they have really had a very good start to the Premier League away from home. 1 win and 2 wins and 1 draw, which the first draw started with Chelsea, if you can remember the first game of the season. I don't think Crystal Palace is going to lose. I think they are going to pick up something, but Everton will fight. At their home, they are a very good side. I don't know if they have translated that to their new stadium, but they used to be a very, very good side at home. So I think this game is going to end in a draw. Yeah. To be on the safe side, X2. So to me, I think my prediction for Everton against Crystal Palace, Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. Now, let's move to the next game. Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. For Newcastle, it took a late winner for Arsenal to, pick up all victory on all 3 points away to Newcastle in their last game. They also gave Liverpool headache. It took a last-minute winner for Liverpool to win against them at home. So they're a very strong side at home. And they won their, the previous game against Wolves at home. So that should count. And they have a upper hand when it comes to head with Nottingham Forest. So I think Newcastle, they won their last game away from home against St. Julia or so at the Champions League. I think 4-1 or so. They're a very good side. For Nottingham Forest, it's the direct opposite. They've been super poor and bad since they sacked Nuno Espirito Santo. This new coach has had it difficult in these first 5 games. No wins in the first 5 games. I think 3 losses or so. They lost their last match today at the time of recording this video against Northern 2-1 at home in the Europa League. They lost, which was a very bad result for them. Now, their first game against Arsenal, that's the first game of this new coach away from home, they lost 3-0. And it's been a difficult game away from home for them. They drew against Palace in their first game, lost away to Arsenal, and the last game against Burnley, they lost. They also lost at home. Let's not forget, they lost at home to Sunderland. So it's been a difficult start for Postecoglou. And this game will be that game that might start getting the Nottingham Forest fans to pounce on him, and that might start putting his job at risk, which he might be sacked. It might not be after this game, but maybe Nottingham Forest will start looking for a new coach after this game, because I don't think Nottingham Forest will win against Newcastle. Newcastle at home, they're a very strong side. For injury updates, Murillo is still injured. Zinchenko got injured. Douglas Luiz injured. Olaino till December, so it's not going to be available. The only concern for Newcastle is Livramento. So let's see what happens with that. He's injured currently against Arsenal. He got injured against Arsenal. But Newcastle have more than what it takes to defeat the Nottingham Forest side who are not on form currently. So my prediction is Newcastle is going to win. Now, what's the scoreline? My prediction for Newcastle against Nottingham Forest is Newcastle 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Yes. So let's move to the next game. Wolves against Brighton. For Wolves, it's been a disastrous start for them. They nearly picked up a victory in their last game against Tottenham Hotspur away from home. But a late equalizer, they drop points again. It has not been its best of start for them. They sit 20th on the log, which is a very, very tough one for them. They are playing against Brighton, who got confidence and they won against Chelsea in their last game. So that is a confidence booster to them. Now, this particular fixture in the last 5, Brighton have won 2, Wolves have won 2, they've drawn 2. So it has been very, very close, against these two sides. Now, Brighton are more informed than Wolves. Out of their last 5, they've won 3, draw 1, lost 1. Why for Wolves? Out of their last 5, they've only picked up a victory and they've lost 3 and draw 1. So now, what is the probability that Wolves will pick up something here? It is very, very slim. In the sense that Brighton won the last game, like I said. But their form away from home, Brighton form away from home has not been the best. They lost against Everton and Bournemouth. So that might actually count. So something always tells me, I have 2 sides of my heart, For Wolves, they've lost, 3 games on a bounce at home, which is not a good result. Brighton is suffering from injury with Mitoma and Veltman. Something tells me it's going to be a draw. But I'm really, really fighting this. I think if we should go by the form I saw last week from Wolves, I'm going to say it's going to be a draw, 1-1 draw. If we should go by that form. But the Wolves at home has been bad. So I'm having difficulty now. To me, I'm having difficulty. To me, I think, something also tells me it's Wolves 1, Brighton 2. But I'm fighting that. That is what I've written down. That is what is in my head, that Brighton are going to pick up a victory here. But I think it's going to be Wolves 1. For the first time, I'm changing what I have on my book. Wolves 1, Brighton 1. Yes, that's what I think. Now, let's move to the next game. Brentford against Manchester City. Now, for Brentford, it was a good result for them in the last game. A very, very good result in the last game. They won against Manchester United. I think that was a good result for them. They also drew at home with Chelsea, which was a good result for them. And they also won at home as Aston Villa. So they've not lost at home this season. Note. Now, for Manchester City, they've only lost 1 game away from home. They picked up 1 win and 1 draw. 1 draw at Arsenal and 1 win at Wolves, while they lost against Brighton. So after that Brighton game, they picked up form again. They drew their last game at Monaco in the Champions League. A late win, a late penalty for Monaco, drew the game for them. Last week they won 5-1 at home to Burnley, which was a good result. Now, going away to Brentford is not an easy game. It's not an easy one. Going away at Brentford. Because they've been very, very good. They've been solid at home. Very, very good at home. Now, with the form of Haaland, I think that will make a difference, for Manchester City. I think Manchester City this season want to prove something. So let's not waste too much time on this. Going by the form of Brentford, I would see a draw here. Yes, I would see a draw going by the form of Brentford. But I think Manchester City we just want to hedge this out because they have the quality. So I think both sides will concede. Definitely. Both sides will concede. So to be on the safe side, go. Both sides to score. I want to say a draw. I really, really want to say a draw. But I think Manchester City will just the last 4 games between these two sides, in that Brentford stadium has been just one draw. Just one draw, one win for Brentford and 2 wins for Manchester City. So if we should go by that, let me be realistic. Manchester City are a really good side and they have everything going for them. So I think it's going to be Brentford 1, Manchester City 2. Wait, so let me know and share your thoughts in the comment section. Yeah, we took a lot of time, too much time on this, but let me know what you think about these games. From next week, I'll start talking about La Liga, the 2 big games or the 3 bigger clubs for La Liga, Atletico, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. But this is what I have for the Premier League this weekend. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button. We'll do this weekly. Every Friday or Saturday morning. Let me know what you think about all these games. Share your predictions also in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button and share your own predictions in the comment section. Until I come your way again next time, I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.